everyone, I'm Jeff Standley with Standley Handcrafted, and we are in the new studio or candle making area. I haven't done a whole lot with this yet because we just moved in, but I wanted to do a quick video, and we're gonna turn this into kind of a tour and a Q&A. So we'll go ahead and jump into the Q&A here in a little bit. The studio is, like you can see right now, I just have things in place. I haven't done anything with it. I just started to go through and get the measurements, and I'll do kind of a tour so you can see the whole area and kind of what I'm thinking for this area. But as it stands right now, I've got all the benches in place. I've got the long one behind me, and I've got two short ones on either side, and I'll go ahead and show you those. And then of course, once we get through and actually start moving all this stuff in and get it placed, I'm then gonna go through and create the kind of the wall behind it so it actually looks nice, and then go through and start designing that based on what a lot of you guys were saying, which is overwhelmingly that this place needs to be brighter and lighter. So kind of like this right now, the benches are obviously a darker tone, so the wall behind it is going to be a lighter tone. Don't know exactly what color I'm going to go with now, and I do know the style that I'm going to go for to make it look somewhat nice for the video. So as I go through that, and I'm going to do like a full build, and I'll do kind of behind the scenes on that kind of stuff too, as well as the candle videos along with that. So I'd say probably the next several weeks of videos are gonna look like this with the garage door in the background. So I hope you don't mind that one. And I'm gonna put together the wall as quick as I can, because me personally, I just wanna get it done. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the camera. I'm gonna show you everything right here and kind of show you what I'm doing, kind of the measurements that go along the sides. And then we're gonna go ahead and jump into the Q&A. So I'd say about a week or two ago, I went on Instagram and I made the post getting ready to make a lot more long form videos. What do you want to see? And I had a bunch of people respond with not only questions, but some stuff they wanted to see for the video. So a lot of these questions will be put into full form videos, but I wanted to go through and answer a lot of the questions that people had in here to get some of those out of the way as well. Now I did answer a lot of these on Instagram. So if you watch the stories or anything like that, you saw some of these, but some of these answers I will go to a little bit longer of an answer. So first starting out, somebody wanted to see the Candler in Me. And if you haven't seen that, it's on Candle Science's website, and it's a little portable, kind of single shot candle making machine. Now this is something that I've been looking at for a little while to get in just to do a video review on it. I haven't gotten one yet, but as soon as they come back in stock, I will definitely be getting one of these, and we'll go ahead and do like a full review on this one just to see what it's like, because there are a lot of people that do use this. The next question is how to get costs down, parentheses lids. This is gonna be pretty much the same answer for any of the supplies that you get out there. Obviously you wanna go to a candle supplier, a reputable supplier like Lone Star or Candle Science, Maple Street, anything like that, Wooden Wick, whoever you go to. And to get the best cost on anything is basically to buy in bulk. Now, obviously you can get started going to a reputable supplier, somebody that does wholesale. So if you were to buy just a single bag of lids, you can get a good price. But as you start buying more lids, if you bump up from like 100 lids to 1,000 lids, you're gonna save a lot more. And that's gonna be the same with oils, waxes, wicks, or anything like that. The more you buy, the more you're gonna save. The next question that popped up is it safe to make candles in dough bowls? And if you don't know what those are, I'll go ahead and put a picture right here so that you can see what they are. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically just a wooden bowl that a lot of people are making candles into these days. They look extremely nice with cotton wicks. A lot of people will kind of decorate them up, put some stuff around the outside of them, wrap them with ribbons. I've seen some that I actually like quite a bit, but it's definitely one of those areas, and it's one of those containers that I personally haven't jumped into because I do worry about the safety issues that kind of surround that. And obviously what I mean by that is it is a wooden bowl, and you're gonna have wicks, and basically you're gonna have a wick that's on fire in the center of that. So I have seen a lot of wooden bowls that burn successfully. They're extremely nice, they sell very well, but I do worry about that. So there's a lot that you need to go into when you're making one of these wooden bowls. You can get a lot of sealers, and I would definitely recommend that. If you get that, seal the inside of it with some type of a heat resistant sealant. And I'll go through and try to put one up here. I believe the RTV has a silicone sealant that you could probably paint throughout the inside of the bowl that would definitely help that. It's rated for temperatures that go well above what your wick is gonna go to. And of course, if you are burning like 3 or 4 different wicks in those, some of the longer ones have 3 or 4 different wicks, you probably, or at least me personally, I probably wouldn't get a wick that goes like the full distance of the bowl, so not a full melt pool in that one. I would get one that probably leaves wax around the outsides. That way, if it does burn to the edges, it's not gonna hit the wood. It's always gonna have wax surrounding it, and that will definitely help with some of the safety issues and possible fire hazard that could come along with burning inside of a wooden bowl. The next one that came up was somebody's concern, and they asked a question about that, and it is wood wicks, leaving wax looking dirty and a low flame after lit a few times. Now the low flame is very normal. That's actually what you want when you're burning a wooden wick. You don't want a flame that stands a ½ inch to an inch tall. When you have a good wood wick, it's actually gonna have, and I'll try to put a picture up here, I have some videos that have shown that, it's gonna have a real low flame to where it almost looks like it's going out, but it's throwing off enough heat with that wood, and the flame is so wide because of the width of the wood wick that it's actually getting a full melt pool in that. Now, of course, for the wax looking dirty after a few times when you light it, that is literally just it can be the oils. If you've got a little bit too much oil in that, you can definitely get a little bit of a dirty look in it, but it's gonna be just basic soot, and of course you're burning wood, so you're gonna get a little bit of the char from the wood. It's gonna fall down inside the candle, and then of course, when those pieces get in the candle, it's gonna darken up your wax a little bit. So again, very normal. Does adding coconut oil do anything to help soy besides hot throw? The coconut oil actually isn't gonna do much for hot throw. What it's gonna do is leave your wax a little bit softer, so it gets rid of some of the cratered tops or some of the holes that kind of develop with a lot of soy candles. So adding a little bit of coconut oil, a teaspoon to maybe like a ½ a tablespoon in a pound, you're gonna get a much nicer and cleaner look with your soy. Your top's gonna be a lot smoother. You're not gonna get the holes, and it will help with frosting just a little bit. The next one that came up is definitely one that's a much longer answer than what I'm gonna give here, and I'll try to do a full video on this one as well, and that is how to get more exposure for a new business if possible. To get more exposure, it's the same with anything. When you're jumping into Instagram, you're jumping into local advertisements or anything like that, you're basically gonna put your products everywhere. If you're doing anything online, you wanna be posting every single day, if not multiple times a day. The more you post, the more chances you have to pop up in somebody's feed. And of course, with something like Instagram, it's so overpopulated with people on there and people posting dozens of images per person and basically millions of images being posted a day, to where if you do wanna stand out in a platform like that, you're gonna have to post a lot. And that's gonna be the same for anything, not only Instagram, but jumping over to Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, or anything like that. Pinterest is another one. You basically want to be in there and jumping into different communities as well. Not only posting your pictures in those communities, but also communicating in those communities. So people see your brand popping up more and more, and pretty much in anything, in comments, in pictures, in videos. Anything you can do to kind of keep your name and your products in front of people is obviously going to help with exposure. But again, like I said, that is a much longer answer than what I'm giving right now. There's a lot more strategies that you can do to get into that and get more exposure. And I will go through and do a video that will kind of highlight some of those examples and give you a better idea of what to do. The next one was more of a comment, and it's second guessing the wax you select, why we do it. Second guessing the wax is something I do quite a bit. I always think there's another wax, or I always think I could go away from the wax that I do use and get something that's gonna help with some of the imperfections and some of the things that I don't like about the wax that I use. Now, if you don't know, I use 6006. I do love the wax, it's a great wax, but it absolutely has its issues. 6006, just like all paraffins, is absolutely terrible for sinkholes no matter what you do. If you pour it hot, if you pour it cool, sinkhole, and I'll go ahead and post a picture of that here, is definitely something you have to take care of. And when you're doing a couple candles, like 6 to 12 or something like that, it's not that big of a deal to go through, poke a bigger hole in there, expose it, run over it with a heat gun, and just fix them. But when you're doing 80, 90, and 100 candles in a day, it's extremely frustrating and aggravating to go through and have to spend another couple hours going through and fixing every single one of those tops. So for something like that, I definitely go through and I question the wax that I use. I wonder if I should switch over to something else or start trying something else. And that's one of the good things with the channel, is I do get the opportunity and the chance to go through and test a bunch of different waxes. But for me, I definitely stick with the wax that I've got, just because I know the wax really well. I know what it does. It's got an amazing hot throw, which is most important to me. It looks really nice, which is definitely second most important to me. And I also know that if I was to get a different wax, I'm going to be dealing with issues as well. Maybe not the same issues, but I'm going to be dealing with other issues. Somebody asked, what are the wick holders that I'm currently using? And I'm definitely using, and again, I'll go ahead and put a picture here, the orange 3D printed wick holders from Hot Throw. They're extremely nice. I've got a ton of them, so I can go through, place them really quick. They fit really nice on on the jars that I use. And of course the price is right on these things. And if you don't know what they are, I'll go ahead and put a link in the video description down below so you can go through and check those guys out. But those are definitely the wick holders that I'm loving the most right now for sure. The next question was, how important is fancy packaging? Now this is one of those ones that can really go both ways. It's easy to say fancy packaging is not important, and then it's definitely easy to say fancy packaging is important. But it really comes down to your area, what you're doing, how you're presenting, the style that you're going after. That's really going to be the ultimate factor in if you decide to use fancy packaging or not. If you're selling to a higher end client, a higher end boutique, maybe a higher end area in town, you're definitely going to want to lean towards a fancier packaging, just because everything surrounding that, everything surrounding your candle in the boutique probably has a nicer look, a nicer packaging. They're definitely going after a market that is looking for a nicer look. They're looking for expensive. But then on the other side of that, there are candles that you go to in like a farm supply store. They're not fancy at all. I've seen several of them, and I make a candle that fits in a supply store like that. It's basically the rustic jelly jar that I use. It's got a basic craft brown round label, a rustic looking lid. It's got no packaging around it, and it would fit perfect in a shop like that, a store like that, to where everything again surrounding it looks exactly like that. So it really depends on your market, your demographic, the audience that you're going for. And of course that will ultimately play a larger role than just having a really nice box around a $10 candle. So that's pretty much it with this one. I just wanted to do a quick video, give kind of a quick tour of the new area, and then add a Q&A on top of that. And of course, coming up this weekend, I'm gonna try to get a lot of this going so that I can actually get back and start putting out more of the long form videos and a lot of the videos that everyone was asking for. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely hit subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you know when those videos do come out. And of course you can follow me on any of the social media platforms that I've listed in the video description down below, so definitely jump over, take a look at those. And if you like, sign up for the text alerts. That phone number is 253-303-7968. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for watching.